That's good. When I was born in the 60s, I lived in there till the 80s, 89, 90. When I got married, moved out to Staten Island. That was the only part
Yeah,
of Brooklyn. There was no other Brooklyn. There was Bensonhurst, Bay Ridge, Gravesend, Bath Beach. Everything else on the other
yeah,
side didn't even exist. We didn't even consider it Brooklyn. Like Greenpoint, which is like a
yeah.
hot spot today, Williamsburg. It didn't even exist as Brooklyn to us back then.
I just was driving. I just pulled over. I'm on Shore Road over here, and I
All
figured,
right.
let's sit back and do the interview here. You know how it's nice and quiet over here. But
Absolutely.
yeah, man, awesome talking to you. How you
You
been
too.
otherwise?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. Life moves on with or without us, so you do the best you can.
You got you got to do bet. You got to do with what you got, man. We
That's
get to
right.
breathe every day. That's an awesome thing that we get to breathe every day.
That's right. And I'm glad I'm getting to breathe with new AnAkA music. I mean, it's been 9 years. That's a long time,
Yeah, man.
especially when you were giving us records basically like every 3 years for a while.
Yeah, you know what it was? Just really. I mean, I guess what happened was we were just working so much, and then COVID hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're playing the shows, we're doing the Gramercies, and we're doing, all the Starland ballrooms and all the big shows that we were doing. Got to play with Zach there in the middle, and man, it was just a tremendous run. And before we knew it, there was some changes made. We had a couple of new guys. Our drummer Jordan Bernaccia, was added to the band, and our producer Jerry stepped up to play bass. It was something we always wanted him to do on the record, so he was going to do that for this new one. And we started the recording process in late 2019, and then luckily we did. We started recording the drums, and we did all the drum sessions there in November of 2019 at the end of the year. And before you knew it, what hit the whole,
Yeah.
the COVID fiasco hit. And then, really, I think that's where a lot of the time was taken up, because before it, we were just so busy with the shows and, writing new stuff. And then we felt like, 2019, it was time, and, we'd get a record out there within the next year or so. But then, it became even difficult to get into a studio. But you know what we did? We persevered, man. We endured, and we have a record right now that's top 5 on heavy metal stations and all that. It's incredible.
It really is, and it's an amazing record. And yeah, nobody wanted that to happen. It did happen. I mean, does it kind of take
Hmm.
the wind out of your sails? Because, all the clubs that we went to here in New York, St. Vitus, Gramercy, they all kind of closed down for a
Yeah,
long time when they reopened. But, like you had this going before COVID hit, so you were like on a streak with things going. So now when you got to come
yeah,
back to it, is it difficult to get back to it again and say, hey, no, we were doing this and this is where we left off, and it's a different vibe now? I mean, were you able to kind of like keep the momentum going from when you had to take that break because of the COVID?
yeah. You know what it is for us? We look at everything like a challenge. We see things as challenges. So when there's a momentum, shift like that, where literally the momentum stopped, right? The challenge was getting right back to where we needed to be. You know, Being in a band for 24 years, the band is 24 years old.
I know.
We remember when this happened earlier, when Lemore's closed, and then when CBGB's closed, and all these things. So for us, it's always about being innovative and taking the next step forward. But yeah, like it was funny there in 2000, in 2000, at the end of 2020, we got together for some jams, because we did that Revive the Music pay-per-view, that stream that we did from a studio that was really cool. Basically, we just put ourselves in people's living rooms, and we, played for them there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
From a studio. It was a really awesome show. But just before that, it was really funny getting back into the studio and realizing what you actually do when you play that hour and a half set or whatever. It's like, oh my God.
Yep.
The first couple of them was just like really intense, and you realize that, like, as you're doing it, and as you're battle tested, and you're going through one battle after the other, one show after the other, you don't stop to think that, like, man, what we're doing is really intense. So I guess that whole time in COVID kind of woke us up to how great things are and how things could go away, you know. And really, like, we maintained our focus. So Jimmy and I, my brother Jimmy is our singer.
Yeah.
Matt Benet is our guitar player. We just stayed focused, and we kind of knew that we wanted to get back to it. It was hard for a while without music because for all of us, like, the stage is really important to us. We're a live band, so like we have to perform.
And you're a great live band. I saw you guys quite a few times over the years, and you say
Awesome, man.
24 years. I can't believe that
Yeah,
next year it'll be like 25 years,
yeah,
a quarter of a century. I mean, it doesn't seem possible. It feels like you always feel like you're the new guys on the block, even though you have like 6 records out. You've
yeah.
been doing it for 20 something years. It's just incredible.
I look back on it and I think about the beginning a lot. Because when you start doing this thing, there's a focus that you have to find. And really early on, like, I've realized when Jimmy came in and started doing vocals when I first started the band, and we knew we had something because people kept walking into the rehearsal sessions and just sitting there and watching. And we knew early on that we had something. And, it was really just about the focus of, all right, let's get some songs put together. I write a lot of the stuff, but especially back then, lyrically and musically and all that. And the focus was like, hey, let's play a show. And then before you know it, you look forward and you've played with, Korn, and you've played with Avenged Sevenfold, and you've played with, Five Finger Death Punch and Zakk Wylde, and all these incredible things that we've gotten to do just by maintaining that focus and constantly taking that next step and being very honest musically. It's like if you listen to an AnAkA song, it's got its vibe, but it goes many different places, and I think that's a key to our longevity. Like, there's something for. I mean, it is intense, and it's really powerful music, and I think that way that there's almost numerous genres. We love playing guitars, man. We love music. We're very honest to our craft, and I think there's something for everybody in AnAkA's intense sound. So I think that whole deal that we talk about, the AnAkA Army, is a very real thing, and it's ever growing. We just did me and Jimmy. We just did a interview with Metal Hammer Greece,
Nice.
and we're in the we're in the May edition of Metal Hammer in Greece. Jimmy, our ancestry is Greek. My father's from Athens, mother's from Sparta. So yes, very 300 Spartans. But it was really cool touching base, with kind of that part of the world, and seeing what people think over there about the band. So it's been a process of 24 years of growing, making records, and really just meeting people who are loving what we do. We're them, man. You come to a show, we're basically with the people. It's
It's true.
they're us, we're them.
That's so true. And, one thing about, like, you were talking about your music, it's definitely hard to categorize, what you do, because I've seen you guys play with different bands that are completely from different genres of metal. I mean, to me, metal is metal. I mean, that's just the way it is. People like to
Yeah,
categorize everything into certain groups, but you could play with bands from two different genres of metal and still win that crowd over. I mean, that just
yeah,
says something
yeah.
about your music, is that there's something there for everybody, but it's not intentional. You're not trying to please the power metal group, the death
No,
metal fans. It's just the way you write appeals to a large audience of metalheads.
yeah. And it's what else I'll say this. Early on in the process of even learning guitar, I was so obsessed with learning all the music that I loved. You know, and I remember just like sitting back and learning. I was like jamming on Sepultura and Eric Clapton. you know,
Yeah.
I was playing. I was playing. You know, Leonard Skinner, and I was learning like Ain't Justice for All. Just loved the process of learning music, and really, and it was important for me to take it in. And really, as I did that, especially as a young guitar player, what I didn't realize I was doing was really taking in all these musical formulas as I learned all these songs. You know, it's like I went through learning like the Megadeth stuff and the Metallica stuff, and I was a sponge. I needed to know all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then before I knew it, I was into Alice in Chains and Black Label Society and Down and Pants. Before I knew it, early on I could play all that stuff, right? And then when my voice, my thoughts shifted to writing, I realized that the riffs were there and the words were also there, but the most important part of it was that the what I call musical formulas were there. Okay, we're going to start this with an intro. It's going to go to the verse, chorus, or maybe we start with the chorus on this one. You know what I mean? This one might not have a chorus, like Fade to Black from Metallica. It just, all that stuff was taken in and really stored. So when I go back and I listen to the style of the band, I think it was developed very early on for me in my playing that I just loved all genres. So if you listen to a song like Lower Than Low, it's like a death metal song that has bluegrass in it. And it happens so seamlessly that I don't even realize it until somebody tells me. Like I had a friend who turned to me and was like, bro, do you realize Lower Than Low is death metal and bluegrass music? And I'm like, no. And then I listened to it. I was like, wow, it really is. And that's what's really awesome. As we move forward, as we added Matt, Benet to the equation, who is an unbelievable lead guitar player and a great writer, the doors opened even more to that process of kind of bringing in these different styles and these riffs, that we've loved all these years. That just the vibe that's in the band is so creative, and you could really hear it on this new record.
You
The
absolutely
Oblivion
do.
Call.
The Oblivion Call. What a great record. And I think this kind of encapsulates your entire 20-year career. I think this goes back, has, Down Devil Road in here, Rust and Jade. There's a
Yeah,
little bit of everything you've ever done, but you've moved on into another direction completely. And if you kind of go back
yeah.
to 2000, did you have a vision for the band the way you wanted it to go? Or was it just more like in the fun mode back then? You say, I'm going to play, I got my brother in the band, and we're going to have a good time. Or did you kind of know what you wanted this band to be from the very beginning?
You know what? We were always serious. It was never. I mean, it is fun and it's a beautiful thing getting to do what we do. But it was always very serious in terms of we got something here, and let's see how let's do our best, and let's create awesome music, and let's see where it leads. And early on, I started noticing like WSOU picked us up and they started playing us. Radio stations everywhere really started picking up, like early on, even with the Down Devil's Road thing. And then SOU really picked us up, with Misery's Child and the Rust and Jade record, and then from there, just more work, the shows started getting bigger, playing with live TV. They started seeing that, man, there's a fan base here, you know what I mean? And we could really deliver, and things grew from there. Then the Glorified Crusade record really changed things because Erase, the music video for Erase, hit MTV online in a very big way. We went to number one on their online rock charts, music choice to the tune of hundreds of thousands of views nationally. It even went worldwide, So the Rust and Jade, video, the Erase video was even bigger. The Deathborn video. So what we really did was we just kept working and doing the things that, indie labels do, and the work and the focus. And we always had this. We have a code, and the code is, no effing shortcuts. It's something that we say all the time. That said, the music was strong and people were digging it. but we never slowed down or took a moment to celebrate any of it. Like when I saw that Erase thing where you're looking at the charts and like Justin Bieber is on the chart, right? And there's the AnAkA, heavy metal is there. So it's like, it's like really awesome. They even MTV even like had written a blog about it on that website. It was so incredible. And then just to see everything else that happened from there, the work we did with WWE legend Ultimate Warrior, who was one of my biggest mentors growing up. You know, since I was a kid, but got to meet him, and we got to be great friends and did some awesome work with him. So if you go back to the beginning and you ask, did you have a vision for it? Did we know all that was going to happen? I don't know that I knew it was going to happen exactly the way that it did, but we knew some more stuff was going to happen because the vibe was tremendous. We knew that we had something, you know?
You definitely did. Did you ever feel there was a downtime for the band? I'm not talking about COVID when we couldn't do nothing, but when you thought about packing it in because you felt maybe things weren't happening, because you really were and are a very independent band. I mean, a lot of those
Yeah,
early releases you guys did on your own. The last two were on Godsend Records. So you really are. I
yeah,
mean, but most bands are independent today also, but they try to look for a label for distribution more than anything else, because labels don't really offer anything more than that today
yeah.
unless you're on a major label. So do you like to have that independent status where you kind of run your own thing and your own game and your own show?
So me and Jimmy, we had all those, we had a bunch of those meetings. You know, we had the showcases for like the majors at CB's back in the day, and a bunch of different things that we just don't talk about. But what we always realized that there was just a change happening. And that like the Erase thing hit, people would then hit you up and go, how'd you do that? It's like, how did I do it? Shouldn't you know how we did it? It's like you're having these meetings, and then people are like wondering, how did that happen? And I just think we just always had a good head on our shoulders, and it was always about doing good business. If we didn't feel it was good business, we were like, we'll just keep trucking along, doing what we're doing. It was never about being rock stars or anything like that. There was a purity to it. There really was. The songs were the most important thing, and live was like a rage adrenaline boost, man. We've never really been like a drug band or anything, but that live stage, if you watch us, I mean, we're pounding our chests. There's
Yeah.
veins sticking out of our foreheads. It is really everything to us to get up there, no matter the stage. I mean, we'd literally set up our equipment, during the Fifth Avenue Festival in Bay Ridge, and played on the Fifth Avenue concrete, in front of hundreds of people that are there just because there's a festival,
Yep. Yeah.
So it's like, for us, we love music so much that it was like, I guess what I would say is we own it. It's ours, and we don't like people effing with it, messing with it, and trying to tell you what you should be. Because after you've done this for 24 years, man, you've outlasted a lot of those people that you sat down in those conversations with.
That's
You
true.
know, it's
That-
crazy when you go back and you look at it. You know what I mean? And like when I sit back and I think about Starland Ballroom with Zach Sabbath and all the. I mean, come on, man. Some of the amazing stuff we got to do. We were right. In a lot of ways, we kind of were ahead of the game and understanding that things were changing, and we kind of own all of it. The band takes care of itself, man. These records don't come out of our pockets. We're not like putting everything, throwing all the money on the table just to get to do this. It's been a tremendous success, and it's been awesome, and we've gotten to define our path and our success the way we want to do it. You know what I mean? So
you
going
sure
back
have.
and remembering all those conversations, it's like you really do. You have to make the right decisions, and I think that you're guided by the idea of doing good business. You know what I mean? Not by the idea of being desperate. Oh, please just sign us so that we could act this way. It's like we were always that. We
Yeah.
still are that. So There's no acting, you know. That's why, like, you know, when you see it live, I know that you've said that you've seen it and you felt the vibe I'm talking about. Man, when it's real, it's real. They can't take that away from you, you know?
No, that they can't. There's no doubt about it. You guys are definitely, I mean, as great as the studio records are, you're really a live band. That's where you shine, and people have to come out and see you. And you talk about like all these clubs, like you got to play CBGBs and Lamore. These were classic clubs that defined an entire generation, of music.
Yeah.
From CBGBs in the city, Lamore in Brooklyn. That was my home throughout the entire '80s, from like '82 until '90.
Yeah,
When
man.
I got married. But these are just amazing places to play. And when you're old and you're sitting in your chair, say, you know what? I played a CBGBs. It's a clothing store, I think now, but it's just
Yeah.
an amazing thing. And I was in a hardcore band in the '80s called Stillborn, and we played at
Yeah.
CBGB's in 1986. And back then, you had to play for Hilly Crystal before he would let you play in the club. So you go up on stage,
Hmm.
and Hilly sat in a chair in front of you and watched you.
Yeah,
And
you
then
had to do the tryout.
you
We
had to
did
do the,
that too.
you had to do the tryout, and that was like so nerve wracking, because like, oh my god, there's nobody here. There's one guy who's watching us, and he makes no expression, shows no face. He just got up and walked away. I'm like, I guess we're done. And then we gotta go and come back. Yeah, you've been there, you've done that, so and it's crazy shit. But just think back on it, you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that. I was part of that little bit of that legacy.
Yeah. We came in. I guess we came in at the end of it. You know what I mean? In those early 2000s, we got in there. We got to play it a few times. In Lamor's and even the Continental. Do you
Wow,
remember the
I
Continental? That
do.
was a
Yeah.
really great spot. We literally like learned how to be AnAkA in that place because what we did was like we told the booker like, hey, anybody cancels, just let us know. We played the Continental a number of times, like on Sunday at 11 p.m. at night. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get that live feel. You know what I mean? And it was the place I think that we cut our teeth. You know what I mean? And sharpened them in a way, and became AnAkA. But it really was a magical time to go back then and just remember those clubs. You know what I mean? And again, moving forward, it's always changing. It's ever changing. So it's really about what do you do next? What's the next step?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like all these years later, like we have our headline show on Saturday, July the 27th at the historic Gramercy Theater. I mean, that's an incredible show. We've headlined there, I don't know, a multitude of times. It's kind of like a home for us, and very appreciative of Live Nation always taking care of us. You know what I mean? Because again, um, being proven and always delivering, there is reward, and appreciative of people seeing our sacrifice and our hard work, and then kind of taking care of us like that. But I'm looking forward to it. That's another venue, man, another gig.
Yeah.
So what it's been for us really this whole time is just doing the press for the Oblivion Call, and traveling around and getting in some radio stations and meeting people and talking, and very appreciative of people spinning the records, and just getting ready to just continue after this. What's next? More writing.
That's it.
And it's not even that you're writing, it's just what you do. You know what I mean? It's like, what was that riff? Wait a minute, that riff. Yeah, play that riff again. Oh, okay, I got it. All right, let's do it. And that's really what it is. Or like, I'll write something at home. Like I remember Matt left his one of his amplifiers at the house one day, and I was like, man, I never played this amp. Let me try it. And I wrote Ghost of Yesterday from the Unwavering and shut off the amplifier. Literally, like, the inspiration of a new toy. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like, that's still me. That's still me. That's still Jimmy. That's still Matt, and our brother Jeff Hines, he's on bass right now. Jordan Bernaccia our drummer, he was able to record his first album ever, man, and that's the Oblivion Call. You should have seen what that was like for him,
I can
stepping up to
imagine.
the plate to do that. You know what I mean? So we it was produced by our eternal producer, the Derry Farley, and he also played bass on it. Check that out when you can, because man, did he do some stuff on that bass? Just the growling bass tone and all this amazing stuff he was able to do. That we're getting ready to do videos and all that. So I'm just really psyched that after all this time, we're still making quality music. It means so much.
That is the most important thing. And you're talking about quality music and songwriting. Is songwriting something that came easily to you, something that you adapted to well, or was it something you really had to work hard on to kind of master and get down?
Mm. I call it an awakening because it was in like it was just there. Like I told you that early on, I was obsessed with learning all the music that I could learn. Man, let me tell you something. When I started playing guitar, and I was told about that palm muting, it changed my whole life. I was like, oh my God. Once I heard the guitar thudding, I was like, okay, now I get it. And then I just wanted to learn everything. And I did that. So I guess what I did was I just put a bunch of awesome music inside my head, and the foundation of that and the formulas and how music is written, I just kind of took it all in. And I guess when you ask me, did it come easy? The answer is I really don't know. I just felt it was there already. You know, when I was awoken to the idea that I wanted to write songs, I started writing. It wasn't this thing where I wondered if I could. It was kind of there. And so were the words, because I write a lot of the lyrics. So I wouldn't say it was difficult. I would say that it was somehow in me. And sometimes I just think, really, maybe it's some of us are just a voice of the universe. You know what I mean? It's almost like a messenger. I've thought that many times because I really don't remember any of it being difficult for me, you know?
True. I mean, after 24 years, I mean, what do you think is the hardest part about keeping a band together, especially a band with your brother too? Brothers can butt heads, they
Yeah.
can fight, they can be the best of friends, they can love each other to death. But you also have other members in the band too that you kind of have to get along with. So, I know you had a couple of lineup changes recently, but you had a pretty steady lineup for a very long time with the band. How do you make that
Yeah.
work? How do you keep everybody together, everybody happy, if it's possible? How do you make it work?
You don't try to change people. You don't try to alter people and make them who you think they need to be. As long as they show up when it's time, and as long as they respect the gift of the band, because the band is not a given. I tell this to people all the time before we go out on that stage. Like, this moment was earned. It wasn't given to us, and it can go away. So it was always about that. People understanding how awesome the situation was for them. You know what I mean? Like, I get to do this. Excuse me, having some water. So it's like, I built this, I get to do this awesome thing. So it really was never difficult. I mean, we did try to add. I started as the main guitar player, and by 2010, luckily, we found Matt. In between, there was other guys that we tried to put in. It wasn't the best fit, so it didn't, so it moved around. But the core group, it was just, we just had this powerful chemistry that kept us going, through the shows, through the videos, through the records. And it was an awesome thing. It wasn't difficult to keep it together because we were brothers, and then when it became time, you said that there was a major one. That was like 17 years in that people had to step away, so, it's just one of those things. I've been doing this for 17 years. My body's hurting, or this, that, or the other thing. You kind of move forward. you continue. And the awesome thing about the Oblivion Call is that we reestablished the focus and a new chemistry, which is incredible. You know what I mean?
Peter, I think I lost you there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
So yeah, what I was saying was that we reestablished when we made those band lineup changes. You know, when the guys that were in the band, they were in for like 17 years. Once that change was made, the awesome challenge then was creating a new chemistry with the newest members in the band, which was, that's not an easy thing to manifest.
Sure.
And it did. It happened. The Oblivion Call is just as powerful as those other records.
I think it's one of your strongest records to date. And I mean, topping this one is going to be hard. I mean, I know you can do it. Most people think
really
that
about topping it. It's not about topping it. It's just about doing. It's about doing the next one. It's about the evolution of the band.
It's a great way to look at it.
We didn't sit down to top anything. It was just like, these are the next beasts. These are the next AnAkA songs. That's really how it comes to be and how we do all of it. And if it tops it, I don't know that it does. I just think it's the next evolution of the sound of what the band is naturally. It's not a planned thing, like you said earlier. That's very important, to say that, because it's not a planned thing. It's just like we don't hammer away on songs. We just write them and we let them become. We don't sit there going, this needs to be heavier, this needs to be whatever. We just let them become.
Yeah. When a fan gets the record and hears it for the first time, there's that excitement about it because they're hearing a new song by their favorite band. Those riffs come at them hard and heavy. They listen. But, as a band member, you're so entwined in those songs because you've been playing them properly for years, putting them together, working on them, recording them, doing bits and pieces over and over again. But do you ever just sit back and listen to the songs as they come together and say to yourself, yeah, we got something here with this tune, or, this one's, do you look at it as a fan when you're writing and recording, or when you hear the final product, or do you just say, I've heard this song so many times, we've been in the studio with this for so long, I don't want to hear it again right now. But do you get that excitement like a fan does when you hear the final product?
Yeah, because we write them for us. So that final product is like really important. Yes, there is that time where you're in the process when you're mixing and you've listened to it hundreds of times, you know what I mean? And you're like, okay, what do I need it to sound like? What is the guitar low? Should the vocals be louder? Is that lead loud enough? All that stuff is just a massive amount of work and listening, but we do listen to it as fans. When I was younger, I heard the work more than I heard the song. Now that I'm older, I hear the song. You know what I mean? So it's like, you create a song, and it's like you bring it into the world. It used to be to me like, okay, all I hear is the takes that I've, trying to get, the recording that I wanted. I remember all the hours that we took. Records become still frames of the time where you were recording them, like what was going on in your life.
True.
So you remember that a lot. But as I've gotten older, for me, it's really like I do hear it as a fan, and the part of it that's really important to me is how people relate. You know what I mean? Like to hear that the music is really helping people through stuff. Because it's really about that. It's AnAkA. I guess the message in the band is really about empowerment of like the human potential. The potential that you have just because you're breathing, man, and the awesome things that you could do every day is another million chances, man. So that's really what the band is about. There's parts of it that's dark when you're listening to it, and that's how life is.
Yeah.
So I think that it's very, again, I just keep going back to it. It's very real, and it's about reminding people that we're all the same. We all have the same size spirit, soul, so to say. You know.
Very true. Hey, Peter, I'm going to let you go in 2 minutes. I don't want you parked on Shore Road for too long. People might think you're the new Son of Sam. So I get you out of here. I want to play a couple of tunes before we wrap up this show. It'll be on this Sunday night. I had to pre-record this weekend because I got a lot of things going on. But man, I'm such a
Yeah,
big
no
fan. I
problem, man.
know. Do you have anything coming up before the July 27th show that you're headlining at the Gramercy, or is that the next show?
That's the July 27th is the next show. That's the next one. Really, what we have right now is just a bunch of press that we're all doing. And we're just kind of gearing up for that one. It's going to be Jimmy's birthday show. We're going to have the families will be there. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be an incredible night. So we're really gearing up for that night. And there's always other stuff that we are moving forward with. We're just now starting to release all the lyric videos for the record. I believe we'll do all of them. So keep a lookout on on the songs. We're going to do some music videos also. We got a lot in store for this record. We really want to get it out to the people, and man, did the radio campaign do great. So it's doing great things. Also shows. I'm working on what the upcoming shows will be too after that. But there's just so many things to focus on at once. It's been a true gift, man. I'm really like happy with what the record has done. How
Hey, Peter, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, we keep going in and out. I think the reception's dropping.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, such a big fan. I'm going to see you July 27th at the Grammys. I know it's going to be a killer show like you guys
Tremendous.
always put on. And the Oblivion Call out now. Where's the best place for people to, pick up a copy of this record?
Definitely the best place is come to the show so that we can sign it for you.
There you
But
go.
the record, always come to the shows. That's always the best place. But yeah, we're everywhere, man. We're on iTunes. If you go to www.anaka.net, that's ANAKA.net, you can see all things Anaka there. You can buy all the records, the merch, and all that stuff. Make sure that, for the fans out there, make sure you go on Spotify and, Pandora and all those things, and just really, like, we're everywhere. So enjoy, man. And make sure at the shows to come up and say hello, because it's always about meeting everybody and thanking people for supporting us and for jumping on all these years later and continuing to do it.
I hear that, brother. I will be there July 27th. I will see you there. What an amazing job you did in the Oblivion Call. It's hard to pick a favorite tune off the record, but I love Dead of Autumn, I think, more than anything else. So I'm going to get that on right now.
Tremendous. Yeah, that's a really a beautiful tune. I'm really proud of that one. They are all in their own way very powerful songs that speak to people, and that's all you can ever ask for from your favorite band, or just even as the writer of this stuff and being in the band that creates it, just to have something that's meaningful and that will speak for you long after you're gone. And I think that we've done that in our long career, and there's so much more left. It's awesome, man. To be able to say we're pushing into the 25th year is a proud and powerful thing, man.
Absolutely. Well, you take care, my brother. Peter, it was good talking to you. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Actually, it's a month and a half away, but I'll see you in July.
I'll see you soon.
Take
Thank
care,
you
buddy.
for having
Have a
me,
great
brother.
night. Bye-bye.
See you, Mike. Thank you.
All right, let's get on Dead of Autumn, and we'll play one more tune. Maybe we'll do Blood of the Python after this. So here you go. All right. Have a great week, everybody. I'll see you June 2nd with DAD and the Quillers, our guests. I want to thank Peter Pallis from AnAkA. I want to thank Bo Brent from I'm getting tired here. Ferret. These pre-recorded interviews are tough to do. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. I will see you next Sunday night.